got any update on Moses or Jimmy, just how they looked in practice? And
Moses didn't practice, but he's getting a lot of work in. He got an individual session in and time in the weight room, and he'll be out Tuesday. Jimmy scrimmaged, JK scrimmaged, so everything went well. We'll list him as questionable for Tuesday, but see how they they come out of the scrimmage today.
What were your just biggest takeaways from the preseason, from the 5-game slate, and just focal points that you want to emphasize going into the regular season here?
We got a lot accomplished in terms of schemes, what we're trying to do at both ends. I think we're in decent shape, not where we need to be. Rarely are you on opening night in the kind of condition that you need to be in, but I don't have any problem with that because it's an 82-game season, and I would say in a week or so, the guys who play big minutes are going to be just fine, but I think we have to lean into the bench a little bit Tuesday night, and obviously we got to do two things better right out of the gate, and that's take care of the ball and defend without fouling. Those are my focus points.
when you look back at the turnovers, was there a common thread, or is there a common theme among them when you look back at just this?
They were, there were a variety of themes, but fundamental play, one-hand passes, one-hand catches. You have to be solid with the ball. And every time you can make a pass with two hands, you should make a pass with two hands. Every time you can catch with two hands, catch it with two hands. You got to be sure of yourself. This game is so fast. These are the best athletes in the world. If you're careless, people will make you pay. Then they're scoring at the other end, and there's nothing you can do about it. So then the other thing is spacing. Sometimes we're driving into a crowd because we don't have our spacing right. But all in all, I thought, in camp we had good spacing in transition, but we were trying to do too much and drive into a crowd, and that caused a lot of the turnovers.
Steph obviously played 30 minutes in your guys' final game in the preseason. Just how would you describe his intentionality in year 17 going into the season right now?
His what?
His intentionality of his focus, like how he's still takes his day-to-day so seriously.
He's got his whole year mapped out. He doesn't end the season and then just wing it for a while and then try to get back in shape. Like he knows exactly what he's doing. It's incredible to watch. Obviously, an amazing player and a world-class athlete, but a big part of that is how intentional he is, how focused he is, how curious he is. He's constantly adapting his training regimen, adding things that can help, adapting to his body, to his age. It's brilliant, his approach and watching it.
What do you think some of the younger guys can continue to take from that, I guess?
Well, we always ask our young guys to watch Steph. I was really encouraged the first 2 days of training camp. Will Richard just was, without being asked, he just went down and just sat in a chair and watched Steph's individual workout. And there's no better player to learn from on and off the court than Steph.
This opening week, you're playing three pretty distinct teams. Lakers are kind of on the smaller side. Denver has Jokic. Portland's bigger on a back-to-back. How much with your starting lineup choices are you looking at it as matchup-based?
Well, it very well could be matchup-based. I've told you guys I don't want Draymond guarding huge centers for 82 games, but there are a lot of teams that play small where we could absolutely start him at the 5. Al is most likely going to play, 50, 60 games, somewhere in there. I mean, we don't know, but we know he's not playing back-to-backs. That's 13 games right there. Usually guys get, knocked around a little bit, take a night off because they're injured or some bumps and bruises. So that automatically puts Al in that equation of he might start, he might not be available. He also is probably playing, 20, 24 minutes max, somewhere in there. So I think I've told you guys this, but you start a guy who's playing 20 minutes, it's hard to space out the minutes over 48. He ends up sitting for a long time. So I honestly have not decided yet who's going to start on Tuesday. There's a lot of factors, some that I mentioned, some that I didn't, and we'll just figure it out.
Steve, who do you know will start on Tuesday?
Ah, smart. Can't fool Monte. I feel pretty confident that Steph Curry will be in the starting lineup. Yeah, I've given it a lot of thought. And, it took me a while, but I got there last night, Resolve. Well, it's not so much that he's earned it, because I don't believe in rewarding guys, for just being one of the greatest players of all time and stuff like that. I don't know. It's more, what his score on the computer was from Science Dave to see if he passed the conditioning test. So
That's as far as you're going?
it's as far as I'm going. Draymond will be out there. If Jimmy plays, Jimmy will be out there. I think that goes without saying. And with Moses out, that's kind of that's the question is, so BP will be out there. So the fifth spot could be Al. God, I'm being way too generous. I guess I'm just, we're undefeated. I'm feeling good. So it's not Al. It could be JK. It could be any one of a number of players, honestly. But what we have to think about is what that does to the rotation and what that means coming off the bench. And but honestly, we have not decided yet, and I've got to talk to guys as well.
After Friday's game, you mentioned that you planned on going to the No Kings rally on Saturday. I was wondering, did you end up going? And if you did, then what was your experience like?
I did go. I went to the one at Embarcadero Square. It was beautiful. There were some people out there. It was a love fest, music playing, everybody marching peacefully. And everyone I saw 100% loves their country, and as is our country's custom, if you don't agree with what your government is doing, then you peacefully protest, and that's how it should be. We are, the democracy, we the people, and I think it's been proven that there's a lot of sway out there right now, whether it's from the media or political pressure, and so we have to be the ones who can push things forward. And the way to do that is to peacefully protest, make your voice heard. That's what I saw yesterday. It was a beautiful day.
So if Brandon starts, who runs the second unit?
I love going from democracy to second unit questions. It just flows. So yeah, I mean, you remember last year, Jimmy and BP played together a lot in that second unit. So if Jimmy's playing, you can expect those two guys to be out there together. They were an incredible combination. I won't hesitate to put Pat in the game. He's had a really good camp. Great playoff run last year. Tough, competitive, smart. So we've got options. But this is all about combinations for me. BP's just a basketball player. He's not necessarily, backup point guard. He's a guy who's at his best when the combinations are really good for him and good for the rest of the group, and that's where he found his groove last year.
Steve, you mentioned Pat. Just how much of a luxury is it to have him on a two-way as someone who is so experienced, especially early in the year, not having D'Anthony Melton, Steph Curry, and so on and so forth, for him to be able to run the second unit like you've already mentioned?
So in terms of just my comfort level?
Yeah, exactly. Just the way that your comfort level has grown.
With Pat, yeah. I mean, I thought the playoff run last year brought out the best in Pat, and it shows the kind of competitor he is. You know, he really shined when we needed him the most, and he loves the pressure. He loves the competition. He brings so much to our team, whether he's playing or not, because of that locker room presence, that fire, that competitive spirit. Every scrimmage, he will fight for everything. And he's become a player now who I have 100% trust in. And so we're lucky to have Pat.